Today I'm here to let you know what are the different ways in which you can benefit from BookTok being a fantasy reader. And no, this wasn't an easy feast, but I took one for the team and I analyzed the whole BookTok through different months in order to see what's the different type of content that we can see there, different creators, and in essence trying to understand what's the value that we can extract from BookTok, even if right now you're only using BookTube. Because hear me out, if you take the most popular fantasy booktubers and you take those videos, usually they get to maximum 1 million views, which is mind-blowing, right? It's massive. But if you go to BookTok, there's a lot of different videos that have surpassed that amount of views, which is obviously a different type of content, but it's still mind-blowing. There's a massive community of viewers, but there are also a lot of creators doing amazing stuff there, and I just believe that there's some good things to extract from there as well. The main problem is, as a fantasy reader, we are not the main core users of BookTok at the moment. The main things that you will find there are mainly romance, there's a lot of fiction, and there's a fair amount of fantasy romance, and yes, a little bit of young adult. So it was super hard for me to get into it because I did not see any value. But then going a little bit more beyond that, I discovered that there's different type of bookish content that I can really enjoy, and I wanted to share it with you. So let's go through those different types of content, and we will conclude this with a list of what are the most talked about fantasy books right now on BookTok. It's starting with what I believe it's the most differential stuff from BookTube. It's mainly just the daily bookish content that you'll see. There's a lot of creators just sharing their daily love for books, and there's a lot of people uploading kind of like bookish tattoos, how to organize your shelves, seeing how other people react to reading the last pages of a book that you've loved, that kind of stuff. Then you have a lot of book hauls and unboxings, which is also fairly common within BookTube. And the books that you'll usually get to see are books with gorgeous book covers, or just unboxing new releases, or just favorites that are really beautiful. Another type of content that you'll find there, in that it's personally my favorite, are the book aesthetics. In here, what you will be able to do is to add, for example, a book that you like and then add the aesthetic keyword, and there's a lot of different videos that want to create kind of like a story for those books, and I love this. I am not a visual person and I have a very hard time picturing the characters, the scenes of a book. Therefore, I really enjoy once I start reading a book, or when I am about to start it, to go there, seek for that aesthetic, and then I can have a greater view of the setting, those characters, and they're amazing things out there. So if you're like me, I'd say that this type of content will also benefit you. The only challenge here is that not all of our books that might seem obvious have a book aesthetic already created. For example, Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, it's not yet there. But there's a lot of books such as Sword of Kagan, which is not that well known, that really has it. So try your chances, and continuing with the content that it's more present also in BookTube, we have the book reviews. In here, what you have, it's lots of creators that as they finish the book, instead of going into Goodreads and just reviewing it, there's just a very short pitch of what were the rating, if they liked it or not liked a specific book, which I find is very refreshing, because usually in BookTube you will find this in wrap-ups, but it's something that not all of the creators do. So if you also want to see reactions for a book that you've just read or that you want to read, you can also check it out. Just bear in mind that in BookTok everything is so way more emotional, and it's like all this drama all around. Then we move to the content that it's kind of like the bridge between the two platforms, which are the book recommendations. And yes, mainly you'll see a lot of people still recommending books that to me feel like they were popular in BookTube like 1 year, 2 years ago. So it feels that they're not kind of like ahead, riding the wave. And yes, there's so much Colleen Hoover and there's so much content around Sarah J. Maas. But for us, if we move a little bit beyond that, you will see Tier Rank's list, and then tropes recommendations and emotional recommendations. The tropes are super popular, and if you know what you like, this is the place. Like, there are thousands of videos based on enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, the slow burns, growing up story. There's a lot. So there's a huge wave of book recommendations based on specific tropes. But then we will also have the emotions, books that broke me, books I'll sell my soul to read again, the books that made me happy, the only books ever that I will reread, that kind of extreme feelings. And let's deep dive and see which are the top 5 fantasy books that are right now very popular on BookTok. And in order to get this list, I analyzed more than 50 videos, taking into consideration only those videos that surpassed the 100,000 views. And in here you have videos with more than 1 million views, so there is a lot. And in the top 5 we get to actually the only one that I haven't read, so I cannot say if it is worth the hype or not, and that is Dance of Thieves. People have different points of view where people don't trust each other. There's kind of like a lot of politics involved. We have this one point of view who is a prince emerging to power, and there's this thief that belongs to another kingdom and that wants to infiltrate and investigate, but things will not be as expected. In the top 4 you have Stormlight Archive. And what can I say? This is a favorite. This is a discord, a war between different races and also different houses. We'll have a lot again of political intrigues, a magic system that is very unique, that will be progressing over time. Top 3, let's see the Poppy Ward. This is a book that I've hated for so long, but now it's a favorite. We will follow mainly one point of view, and that person will be a very morally grey character. It will be someone that really has ambition, that wants to do something for her country, and the things that she will do are very questionable. 2, we have Mistborn, also by Sanderson. This is a trilogy that it's a must read if you haven't read it already. It's at its core a heist, and it will follow a lot of different very charismatic characters. It's also kind of like a revolution kind of a story, and the unique thing about this book, it's probably the magic system. It's the type of thing that will awaken you to fantasy. And in here people has the ability to do allumancy, so they can ingest metals and therefore can have powers. And top 1 we have Six of Crows, which is a fantastic pick. I'm surprised this is still talked about as much, although I believe that with the TV series it's just only natural that these comes up again and again and again. We will have a heist at its core. We will have 6 different points of view with also very morally great characters, complex characters. The fantasy element, it's really low, but the dynamics, the things that happen are so very consuming. The best way to hack your algorithm and start making BookTok recommending stuff that it's relevant to you is to start following accounts that already have content that you like. I will link down below the ones that are valuable to me in case it also makes sense to you. But if you want to have control and you want to see what are the most popular videos for each of the creators, is to go to your desktop, to your computer, to the browser, then open TikTok there, find the different creators you want to check out. There's an extension that will also link down below, and that will rank and sort those videos based on popularity. That way you can maybe have a taste of these creators in a better way, see what are the things that made them be that popular, see if you like that or not, because they are more prone to repeat that kind of content, and the story will unfold from there for you. Let me know down below if this was useful, if you'd rather prefer to see a deep dive or the different book recommendations, or if I believe those are worth it. I cannot wait to see what you think.